Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video, it doesn't take long to identify what the problem is here. We have got a crack in the sole of this foot and it is extending through that outside wall. And because there's lameness involved here, it goes deeper than that. So let's get started on this and see exactly what we've got. Now for those of you who want to see what a block removal looks like, you're going to get to see that in this video as well. We're bringing back a past case. Take a look at her foot and we're going to pop that block off. So stick around for that and you'll get to see it. But first, let's get back to this trim. Now, anytime you see a mark like this in the sole that extends from the sole through that outside wall in this fashion, it's almost always going to be a puncture. There's really no hoof ailment that acts like this other than that, so that's how we can pretty much pinpoint that. Now, in this case, when I brought this to the attention of the herdsman, luckily, this problem had already been fixed. He had spotted this problem in the holding area. Unfortunately, this cow had already stepped on it, but like I said, the problem's been fixed now, so we don't have to worry about it in the future, but we do have to fix what we're dealing with here. I'm going to pare my way through this, much like I would if this was a white line issue, and in fact, it's going to look much like one as well once I get there. We've gotten to that point now where we've got to where that area of separation is. Now we just need to pare this away along this edge to figure out exactly what we're dealing with underneath. I apologize in advance, guys, for the camera angle on this one. There's really not a good place to set the camera up when I'm working on a side angle shot of the foot like this. So kind of bear with me on this one. I did the best I could. I don't have a cameraman to get in there real tight, so we're going to have to put up with it for this trim. As we work our way in here, you'll see what I mean when I said it's going to look a lot like a white line issue. I'm going to have that very similar area of corium disturbance, but obviously in this case, that's not what we were dealing with. We are going to trim it just like a white line issue though. That area of corium disturbance, we're going to clear all of that area free of any loose or detached horn, just so it doesn't abrade that area, allows it to heal much better. This wall horn is much harder than that solar horn, so I'm going to get the grinder out just to thin that down so it makes my knife work that much easier. Now inside a cow's foot, the weight is transferred down through the foot into that pedal bone and then out to that outside wall and ultimately to the ground. Now in this case, we don't want that to happen here. We want all that weight to be on that other claw, so that's why we put that rubber block on there. It's going to elevate this injured one off the ground, put all the weight onto that rubber block, and that's going to allow this to heal much more effectively. Now that we've got this area freed up of loose horn, we're going to clean it up really well one more time, and then we're going to put a salicylic acid wrap on this and send her on her way. But don't go anywhere because we're not done yet. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to bring a cow back from one of our previous videos and pop one of our blocks off so you guys can see how that works. And she's off. Now we've got 5919 back in the chute, and this is how her foot looks. It's looking great, which means that block gets to come off. Now, if you don't remember her, she had a little mark in that white line. We pared it away a little bit with the grinder, then we got the knife out and started working, and there was some pressure built up underneath there. We released that, removed quite a large area there, right around that area of corium disturbance, treated this with some salicylic acid, wrapped it up, and now we're back 6 weeks later to see how she's doing. Okay, I know we're not just going to check on this foot. I already spoiled it when I said that block is going to come off. And that means that the sole is thick enough to bear weight again, which means all we have to do here is really touch this foot up, clear away any loose horn that might be there, and then we're going to get to that block removal. Now, solar horn grows at a rate of approximately 1/4 of an inch per month, give or take. So, after a 6-week time period, we're looking at approximately 3/8 of an inch of sole depth. That should be plenty to bear weight. And you'll notice as I'm working here throughout this trim, I'm going to test that sole a little bit just to see if I find any spots that might give under pressure. If it does, that means it's at 1/4 of an inch or less, which is not good. But in this case, this entire area is firm. That means it's thick enough to bear weight, which means it's thick enough for that other block to come off. Now, if you've seen me remove blocks in the past, I had a stiff piece of metal I would slide behind that block and pop it free. Ever since I started using that abrasive disc to rough that foot up, they don't pop off nearly as easily, and that's why I use the nippers. Here I can pop them free. You see what that looks like when it comes off. Now all I got to do is trim this foot up, touch it up a little bit, and she'll be ready to go as well. Now, because her initial trim was only 6 weeks ago, there's really not a lot of material that needs to be removed here. It's really just a touch-up. Round those toes off, make sure we've got good balance between the two claws, and this foot's ready to come down. We'll give you one final look at the bottom side here, and then we'll take a look at it as she's standing. You see we've got good balance between the two claws, and she's off. 59:19 is all fixed up, ready to finish off her dry period resting. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.